to my channel, She Plans, She Budgets. In today's video, we'll be going over my weekly check-in and weekly balance setup spreads. So let's get started. All right, so here are the stickers I'll be using for today's video. This is the weekly check-in spread right here. And then I just have an extra script because I like to do the weekly check-in pages on 2 pages. And then I have my weekly balance spread. And this is where I will keep track of what's in my bank account to make sure the numbers match. And then I just have some washi here that I'll be using for both spreads. And then in my previous videos, we did go ahead and set up several spreads together. The first being my December monthly calendar. So this was all set up in a previous video, along with the expense log. This was set up together, and I use this to keep track of my cash envelopes. Then on the next page, I have my savings tracker, and we discussed this in a previous video, along with my monthly budget. And then we also set up my sinking funds page. So all of this was set up in previous videos, so feel free to check those out if you haven't already. And then on this page is where I will start with the weekly check-in page. And then again, like I said, I'll use 2 pages for that, this page and the back, and then I'll put the weekly balance here. And then that will be the last spread for December, to have December's monthly budget totally set up. And then the following videos will just be my weekly check-ins for weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because this month I'll have 4 weeks that I'm checking in for. And then we'll just go from there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lay down the stickers, and then I'll be right back. All right, you guys, I am back from laying down the budget stickers for the weekly check-in. For this month, I am using 4 weeks. So I went ahead and did the 4 weeks for the weekly check-in plus the results section. And then for the weekly balance, I also did 4 weeks, and I just need 1 page for that. So right now we're just going to flip over to the calendar view. So since I'm doing 4 weeks for this month, sometimes I do 5, just depending on how the weeks in a month fall, because I like to do weekly check-ins from Sunday through Saturday. But for this month, since the first starts on a Friday and it's only 2 days from Friday to Saturday, I decided to go from the 1st to the 9th for the first week, then the 10th through the 16th for the second week, 17th through the 23rd for the third week, and then the 24th through the 31st for the 4th week. So I'm just going to go ahead and write those dates down. All right, so we said the 1st through the 9th. All right, so I'm just going to write that right here. 1st through the 9th. And then we're going to do the 10th through, I believe, the 16th. Yes, the 16th. And then week 3 will be the 17th through the 23rd. And then lastly, week 4 will be from the 24th through the 31st. Okay, and then my results section will cover from the 1st through the 31st. And same thing for the weekly balance sheet. I will do from the 1st through the 9th, the 10th through the 16th, yes, 17th through the 23rd, and again from the 24th through the 31st. All right, so for the weekly check-in, this is the page that I will use to check in with my cash envelopes expenses, and that will be this section right here from the monthly budget, the cash envelopes section. As previously mentioned, I am a cashless budgeter, so I don't actually have physical cash for these categories. I just swipe my credit card for both cash envelopes and sinking funds, and then I just pay it back each week through my bank transfer. So I'm just going to write down my categories right here. So we have gasoline, groceries, household, spending, eating out, and entertainment. And I was just thinking that I might have meant to include unbudgeted, but I guess that's all right because I'll just show unbudgeted on the calendar view, and then I'll just keep track of it here in the monthly view right here if I have any actual unbudgeted. Because I think last month I had it on the weekly check-in, so that's an oops, but that's all right. So for my categories for week 1, I'm starting off with $200 for groceries. $200 for gasoline, $850 for groceries, $200 for household, $100 for spending, $100 for eating out, and $100 for entertainment. So I'm just going to write those amounts here. So $200 plus $850 plus $200 again plus $100 plus $100 and $100 again. So this is how I like to set up my week 1 check-in, and we'll come back in a separate video after the 9th to check in for all of these categories, and that's where I will lay down these expense trackers in my calendar view for the days that I spend money and, you know, for how much and whatnot. And then we'll also go over my actual amounts for the bills too in those weekly check-ins, because by then the bills will have come out, so I'll have the actual number, so we'll write those in together. Okay, so back to the weekly check-in. So this is pretty much all we can pre-set up for right now for the weekly check-in, and then I'll just write in the categories, you know, throughout the weeks. And usually I only like stuff these categories at the beginning of the month, so the rest of these plus columns will just be blank. They'll just have a dash there because I won't be adding any additional funds. And then at the end of the month, I'll go ahead and write all the categories again, the total amount that I added for the month, which will be the same as these numbers unless anything changed throughout the month. And then I'll write the total of what I spent for between weeks 1 and 4 and what's remaining at the end of the month. All right, so next for the weekly balance. So this sheet is solely to account for my account number 1, which holds my 3 categories from my monthly budget, which are bills, cash envelopes, and miscellaneous, which mostly focuses on sinking funds, because again, we don't set an amount for unbudgeted, so that's 0. So it'll mostly just be sinking funds, bills, and cash envelopes. So I'm going to write those down right here. This is a new sheet that I budget with. This is part of my new budgeting style because I didn't do this previously. So the first one is bills. Second is cash envelopes. And then last will be miscellaneous. And I'm just calling it miscellaneous instead of sinking funds in case there's ever any additional expenses that I want to cover in the miscellaneous section of my monthly budget. Again, that's that section right here that we budgeted $733 for in my previous video. Okay, so again, this spreadsheet is to account for account number 1. And then in another video, I mentioned that my savings tracker will show for my second checkings account, as well as my high yield savings account for these 2 categories. So just so that all my accounts make sense to you all, so 2 checkings accounts and 1 high yield savings account. All right, so for the first category for week 1, we need to write down a total for bills. So as we know, my bills category, we are starting off with $2,750, and that is just an estimate of what I expect to pay for this month of December. So I'm just going to go ahead and write that starting amount here, $2,750. And again, I just wanted to round up to have a nice even number. That was why I had this buffer section right there. And then for cash envelopes, we have these 6 categories that total $1,550. So we'll go ahead and write that here. $1,550. And last but not least is miscellaneous. So that category will include the sinking funds of $733. But because for sinking funds, we know that we're starting the month off with $441, $441.75, and we're adding the $733 from the monthly budget. So that gives me a starting amount for sinking funds of $1,174.74. So that is the starting amount in my account, $1,174.75. And adding all of that together, the $1,550 plus the $2,750 gives me a starting account balance of $5,474.75. Alrighty, so that is what I am starting with for the beginning of the month. As far as my bills, cash envelopes, and miscellaneous / sinking funds. And then in my week 1 check-in, we'll go over all of my expenses, and I will talk about the bills that came out for the first week, and we'll do those calculations for the amount spent and the amount ending, and that's what should match my account balance. So for right now, my account balance is still at this amount, $5,474.75, because I did not do any of the transfers. However, the bill for rent and water was paid on the 1st, but it doesn't pull, you know, on the first day. So I probably won't see it come out until Monday, which is tomorrow. So my account balance is still at the $54.74.75 as of today, the 3rd. So probably tomorrow, maybe even Tuesday, is when the money will actually physically leave my account. So this number is still accurate. And then as far as my expenses for cash envelopes and sinking funds, you all will see that in my upcoming weekly check-in video. So please stay tuned for that. And yeah, so that is how I like to set up my budget for the month of December. And this will basically be my new budgeting style going forward. So we have my weekly balance, weekly check-in, pages 1 and 2, with my cash envelopes, the sinking funds right here, with the transaction log, monthly budget, savings tracker, my expense log, which is where I will log just the cash envelopes and any budgeted expenses as well. And then here I'll keep track of all of these categories right here on the sidebar, as well as my total number of no spend days. So yeah, that is pretty much everything for today's video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe down below, and I will see you all next time. Bye.